There is a moment in every story where the thing that has been building has to arrive, where the question that has been asked in every scene and every corridor and every almost moment has to be answered. I had been running from that moment since a Tuesday night in a restricted corridor. I had been calling it responsibility and practicality and good sense. But standing in his private rooms with the bond at full strength and the documentation sitting on the table that said Aldrich had no claim on me anymore, I ran out of reasons. So I stopped running. I heard his carriage from my window at 7 in the morning. The sound of formal departure, horses, luggage, the particular quiet that follows when something that has been taking up too much space finally leaves. Myra appeared at my door 10 minutes later. "He's gone," she said. "His man came to the steward this morning. Lord Aldrich is withdrawing from the palace. The betrothal arrangement has been compromised by a prior legal claim. He's gone, Alina." I sat down on my bed. The warmth in my chest felt different, not pulling anymore, settled, like something held at tension had been quietly released. "Are you all right?" Myra asked. "I think I might be," I said, for the first time in a while. The upper palace, deeper than I had been before, quieter. The guard at the final corridor looked at my pass and stepped aside without a word. The door was plain, dark wood, old iron handle. The door of someone who had stopped needing to impress anyone in his own space a long time ago. I knocked. "Come in," he said. The room was, I don't have a word for it that fits both what it was and what it meant. Books everywhere, lived with rather than displayed. A fireplace with a low fire. A large window looking out over the full sweep of Valethorn, the upper city, the lower city, the fields beyond, the line of dark trees at the horizon. A worn cushion on the window seat. Personal maps on the walls, marked in a strong dark hand for thinking rather than for show. And him, standing in the center of it in a dark shirt and simple trousers, no court dress, no ceremonial weight. Looking at me coming through his door in crimson with my chin up and my hands steady, and the warmth in my chest so full it had become something like peace. He looked at me for a long moment. Something moved in his expression that I had not seen before. Like relief. Like someone who had been holding a breath for longer than was comfortable had just been given permission to breathe. "You came," he said. "I came." There was a document on the small table near the fireplace. I crossed to it. Bond recognition under shifter domestic law, both our names, the legal protections, and at the bottom, 2 signature lines. His was already signed. "3 days ago," he said, "when I understood what I wanted." He was standing several feet away, not crowding me. "I am not asking you to sign it. What I want from you is not compliance. It is your choice, freely made." "And if I don't sign it?" I asked. "Then I still protect you from Aldrich. The status filing already makes his clause unenforceable. You owe this document nothing." "I know that," I said. "What does it mean? The other things. The things harder to explain in legal language." He was quiet for a moment. "Then, it means what I feel is acknowledged, not just legally, between us. It means I stop pretending I haven't been thinking about you in every room you've walked out of." A pause. "It means I get to want what I want without it being a problem I'm managing." I looked at the document, at the blank line, at the pen. I thought about the scribe's room downstairs, about 2 years of careful composure, about every choice I had made since I was 23 that was the best available option rather than the thing I actually wanted. I thought about his hand on the stone arch in the garden, about the space between our faces that had been nothing and everything simultaneously, about the warmth in my chest, the warmth that had been with me since the night in the corridor, that had never asked permission, that had simply arrived and stayed and become, over the course of 7 days, the most honest thing in my life. I picked up the pen. He went very still, not moving, not speaking, letting me do this without the weight of him on it. I signed my name, set the pen down, looked up at him. He looked at my name on the document, then at me, and the breath he released was quiet, but it was real, the sound of someone who has been carefully hoping for something and has just received it. He crossed the room to me, 3 steps, close. I raised my hand and placed it flat against his chest. The warmth from the bond moved from my chest through my palm, and his hand came up and covered mine, his fingers closing over my hand and holding it against his heartbeat. His heart was not steady. His heart was doing exactly what mine was doing. "I've been wanting to do this since the corridor," I said. "Which part?" he asked. "All of it," I said. Later, much later, when the candles had burned low and we had talked until the palace was completely quiet, he said, "There are things you don't know about the night in the corridor, about how I came to be there, about who put a blade in me and why." He was watching my face very carefully. "When you're ready," he said, "I will tell you all of it." And I understood for the first time that this was not an ending. That signing a document and placing my hand against someone's heart was not the conclusion of a story. It was the first sentence of a different, longer, more complicated one. A story I was, at last, choosing on purpose, with no more walls between what I wanted and what I was allowed to want. He looked at me. I looked at him. The warmth in my chest had settled into something I was no longer fighting. It felt exactly like beginning.